Hey y'all, so I wanted to make a video right now because I'm sitting here by myself thinking. This is when I usually, because I live alone and I have for now the last 4 years, I really have time to reflect and think, which I think is so important. I think many of us lack the sometimes isolation of just being alone and really digesting our thoughts and figuring out, reflecting on our lives and decisions, as well as just thinking. So I've really, the last few years, I've been learning how to think. I know it sounds strange, but I had a few drinks last night with my tenant and his family. Nothing crazy, but I had some drinks, and of course I just woke up not feeling that well. And I just kept thinking more and more about how alcohol and the food we consume really cause our anxiety and depression. Now, of course, some people have very traumatic situations that happen to them, and so I'm not saying this is the only reason, but for most of us, I really believe that it's the alcohol we consume and the food that we consume. If you think about it, I mean, we really are like a society of functioning alcoholics. I mean, people don't even go a week, let alone a day, without drinking. And this isn't to judge anyone. I've become more aware of this because, like I said, for the last 4 years, I've lived alone. I've moved to a new state by myself, so I really don't have that many friends either, and I don't have family nearby, so I don't do that much. And a lot of times I'm by myself, and of course, at times that can be somewhat difficult in itself because you do feel lonely. But overall, it's been way more beneficial for me because I've learned how to think. I've reflected on my life, and I don't drink as much. Like it is very normal for me not to drink in a week. I mean, like maybe my average is like every other week, and it's only on the weekends. And even that, I'm starting to realize that when I do have those few drinks, or if I go out to eat and have a drink, that like it's not really a drink that does it to me, it's the excessive drinking. And then the next day when I'm hungover, I feel anxious and restless and depressed, and depending on how drunk I was the night before, ashamed, embarrassed. And I never really, I guess, realized or conceptualized that those feelings, when I have them and when I have those negative thoughts because of those feelings, that's being morphed into my brain. And even though I might not be having those thoughts every day, it's subconsciously there. And I have those thoughts more times than not after a night of drinking, or if I ate really shitty. And usually eating shitty and drinking go hand in hand. And I think I've become more aware of this because I've become more self-aware over the last few years. And so I really try and be aware of my feelings in a certain situation. I try to be present. It's important to, and now I still have a lot of room for improvement here, in learning how to do that. But being present and acknowledging what feelings I have in what situations and what I'm doing at that moment when I have those feelings, or what caused those feelings. So I just felt like it was important to talk about this because I think it's stigmatized, I guess you could say, that going out and being social, you have to get fucked up. And I just don't like it as much. Now, I still want to go out and be social sometimes. I'm more of an introvert for sure. Not something I do all the time, but when I do, I like to have a good time. I just think that I think I'm done excessively drinking, and I'll have a few drinks. I'm sure there's times where I will excessively drink, and then the next day I'll feel hungover and I'll have anxiety. And another point of when I get anxiety or feel depressed, like I said, I live in Illinois and I live alone away from friends and family. So if I go home for a weekend, or if I have them visit me, I think I have such serotonin release, and I'm in more of a euphoric state because I haven't seen them in so long. Sometimes I go weeks and months without seeing them. So I'm really, really happy and have full of energy when I see them. And then the day I'm leaving and the following day, I feel slightly depressed. And I think that obviously plays a big role with it because I love my friends and family and being around them. But what I also think it is, usually when people are visiting me or I'm home visiting people, we're drinking and I don't eat very well, and I don't have my same exercise routine because obviously exercise is a big deal for your mental and physical health. So I really think the root cause is the drinking and the bad food, the lack of exercise, the lack of sleep. I'm sure most of you can relate that when I'm hungover, I don't sleep that well. I can sleep for a long time and I can sleep all day because I'm freaking exhausted and lazy, but I never get good quality sleep. And sleep's really important to me. It keeps me sane. When I feel stressed or something, like I just want to take a nap. Like, I know it's kind of weird, but these are just things that I'm really starting to notice and think about. So maybe I hope you guys, maybe this made you think about something, and maybe you'll make different life choices or changes, or kind of cut back on your drinking or junk food eating, and just really try and this goes for what I'm saying is that this goes for me too, that to learn to be present and acknowledge and accept the feelings and emotions you're having in certain atmospheres and around certain people. And if you're getting negative feeling or anxiety or depression, note when that is turned on or when you're having those thoughts, and as to why, and then make changes to avoid having that. Like, no one likes the feeling of anxiety and depression. And when you're doing that maybe every weekend, that's a lot of time that you're having those feelings. It is being morphed into your brain, and you're now going to have those thoughts, even maybe not consciously all the time, but subconsciously you'll have those thoughts and feelings. So I thought it would be important to talk about that, because I was having some of those feelings today because I had a few drinks last night and I just felt like meh, and I was having slight anxiety and feeling mildly depressed. Now, overall, I'm an emotionally stable person. I'm pretty happy, but we all have, life's hard. Humans are complicated. So don't be ashamed of feeling that way, but acknowledge it, accept it. And maybe there's things you can change in your life to avoid feeling that way, or at least avoid feeling that way that often. So thanks for watching. I pray for all of you guys that you're able to find some clarity and peace of mind, because when you're feeling these ways, it's like you're in the fog when you're feeling depressed, hungover, anxiety, all of these things. And finding clarity is, I think, the key to life. So hope you guys have a great day. God bless, and take care of yourself. Be healthy.